everyone, and welcome to the Inspired and Empowered Living TV show and podcast. We're live Tuesday mornings at 11 a.m. Eastern on talk4tv.com, w4wn.com, and my YouTube channel. And today we are going to continue to talk about reducing relationship stress, part 3. Are there some people, and we're going to continue where we left off last week, and are there some people in your life that you're not looking forward to seeing during the holidays? Find out how to manage your relationship stress to live an inspired and empowered life. And we're going to be talking about 3 principles that you need to do to boost your self-care so that you can become more centered and calmer during the holidays. Learn how to deal effectively with difficult people, and discover the number one mistake that would keep you from healthier relationships. So welcome everybody, and glad you're joining us today. And as always, I encourage questions. If you're joining us live, you can always go to YouTube and post in questions after. And if you're live, you can post them right in, and definitely want to support you in being able to join us live, and want to let you know that we are grateful whether you're joining us live or you're listening at a later time. Thank you for being here. So the first thing that I really want to do before I jump in today's topic is, last week or so, we have been talking about being consciously aware and really tuning into you and what you need when you're feeling triggered. And I see that we have Allie in the house. Good morning, Allie. And really tuning in to when you're triggered, and then to know that once you realize what the trigger is, then you can do something about it. But I want to talk about the questions that I received at the end of the show, and I want to answer those questions. So hopefully the people that asked the questions are on. If not, they'll have to join at a later time to get their questions, to hear the answers to the questions. So one of the questions is, if one person in a relationship changes, does this cause a one-sided issue or out of sync? So if what happens is the one person in the relationship is changing, the relationship can go one of 2 ways. And here's the thing I want to say: if one person in the relationship is changing in a positive way, because if one person is changing but they're going downhill or they're having major challenges, and they may end up taking their partner with them, or the partner may support them in getting better. So what happens if you are changing and you're concerned, will your partner keep up with you, or the relationship will keep up, or will it go down? So what will happen is, if you are changing in a positive way and you're getting healthier and healthier, and you're sharing and communicating from your heart in healthy, appropriate ways, and your partner even though they may not be doing the work with you, but they're hearing you. They're open to hearing you. And somehow you're working it through. Somehow you're moving together into higher and healthier ways. Then the relationship will get better. And that's because what happens is when you get healthier, either the people in your life will you're setting us you're being a role model, and you're setting a standard, and it's almost like there's a universal call, a universal law called resonance. And what happens is with resonance, that when other people are around a certain frequency, so as you get higher and lighter and you start changing for the better, people will either come to your resonance. So your partner may end up joining you and coming to your resonance. Or if the relationship and you're getting better and healthier and your partner is not willing to change, not willing to go there with you, not willing to hear you, then the relationship will probably end. And I know this from personal experience. I was actually married and I'm divorced. And what happened was I was choosing to keep changing. And my husband at the time, and I'm very grateful to him in a lot of ways. However, he made the choice. Like I was on a trajectory of I'm changing and nothing's going to stop me. I need to get out of the pain because I was in a lot of pain. I was in a lot of um, depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder. And what happened was, I see the question come in, and I'll answer it in a second, shortly. And what happened was he made the choice not to change. And we ended the relationship. And so somebody asked, are me and my ex friends? No, we're not friends. We're not friends. I don't, like when I think about him now, he's remarried. I bless him, and everything. But I chose not to be friends. It just didn't feel healthy for me. And there are some people that can remain friends with their exes, and it works for both of them. Listen, you have to choose, not choose. You don't have to choose. When you make a conscious choice, that empowers you to either stay friends if that's really what feels good to you, or to let the relationship go. For me, I needed to let it go because it wasn't serving me. And I'm grateful for all the lessons and the things that I did learn. And it was time to move on. And so that's what I did. So that's the question. And I believe it was Misty. I don't know if Misty's here, but I hope you heard the answer to your question. And if you have any other questions, or any of you have any other questions about what I just said, definitely ask. Now, this next question I think came from Country Corners Gazette. So, and if not, if it was somebody else, Misty. Okay, Misty, there she is. Is it okay to remain part of exes' lives, or should people move on? You know what? You need to choose. Like, if you feel good and comfortable with your ex and you can be friends, then definitely go for it. I definitely want to support you if you both can be, because sometimes people realize they can be better friends than they can be partners and lovers. So if you can be friends with an ex, go for it, do it. But if that ex is really toxic or hurtful, then I would limit that. Now, if you have children with your ex, then you need to, obviously, you're going to be connected to that person unless it's so toxic that you had to. And I've known situations like that too, where somebody just had to totally cut off from an ex. But if you have children with that partner, then you need to find a way to work through it or keep things to a minimum for the sake of the kids. And so every partnership, every relationship, it's about figuring out what works for you, to support the children, to support everything so that it's the highest and greatest good for all. Okay. So now the next question that came in last week that I want to talk about before we get into this week's show is, if a person is making a difference for self, but others are not agreeing to the changes, should the person making the changes worry about the feelings of others? Okay. So if you're making changes and the changes you're making are really helping you and supporting you, and you are getting healthier and healthier, but other people are not liking them. And I'll give you an example of what happens with that. So what happens very often is you start getting healthier and healthier, and you start saying no, and you start setting boundaries. Now, if you have people in your life, and they could be parents, they could be adult children, they could be friends, and you were the person that was always giving and doing and going till you felt so exhausted. And then you started learning to say, no, I'm not going to do this. Or, you know what, this isn't feeling right for me right now. And you started setting limits and boundaries. And the people that you used to always say yes to, if they're not healthy or going there with you, and they're not honoring your needs, then they may get angry. They may get upset. They may get sad. And sometimes, if they're really dysfunctional, they may try to guilt you. And what I want to support you in remembering is that the most important thing is your self-care. And that's what we're coming back to, is that self-care. And the self-care is really, really crucial and important. And others may not agree with it, and they may not like it. They may want you back to the old self where you're giving to the point of depletion of yourself. But that's not good for you, because I want to support you all. When you give from the place of overflowing abundance, and that abundance is in energy, in time, in love, you have more to give, and the giving comes from a different place. It's more unconditional than from a place of depletion. And so what I'm going to support you is to keep doing your self-care, because that's what's most important, is that self-care. And others may not always agree with it if they're not on the path with you. But know that you are doing what you need to do to take care of you. I can give you an example from my own life. My parents, God bless them, they're in heaven, and I may have used this example, but this is so what happens. I was going to trainings and different programs, and my parents would say to me, "You're going again? I can't believe you're going again." And I knew from an intuitive place, this was really crucial for me to do this training or program in Massachusetts, Rhode Island. Sometimes I'd be flying out to California. And I knew that I needed to do it. And I would do it. And I would fight them. God bless them. Now they're in heaven. And now they understand that I had a vision. I was keeping to my vision. And I see all the comments coming in. So I'll answer them shortly. And we would fight about it or disagree on it. But nothing was going to stop me from growing and changing and healing and transforming. Nobody's anger, nobody's disagreements. I wasn't going to stop. And what I want to support you, if you are working on yourself and you are moving towards making changes in your life for your betterment, then keep on going. That self-care is crucial. And so boundaries are a huge, huge piece in every way, in relationships, in your life, with yourself and with others. And that's part of the self-care. And that comes when you clear the energy. You connect, you consciously become aware, you clear the energy. And then the third piece that I want to talk about is the connection. And when you connect with yourself and you start realizing what your limits are, you start setting those boundaries. And those boundaries are crucial for essential, I call it essential self-care. Okay, so I know we got a whole lot of things coming in. So let's go back. I think Misty, no, Country Corners. I know people who keep going back and forth with the ex, and they are like a yo-yo. So there are people that will go back and forth with an ex-partner because either there's a couple of things that might be happening. One is the relationship may not be complete. Their partners may still be learning from each other in some ways. Or that's one piece. The other piece is that the subconscious patterns really, and you may or may not like hearing this, but in relationships, you are not only coming, like within a few seconds, when you're talking about a romantic relationship and even a friendship that you feel really connected with, it's within a few seconds, perhaps a few minutes, that the subconscious kind of makes the connection. And you feel that person may meet your needs. Now, what happens in relationships, because we're talking about reducing relationship stress, is that what happens in relationships is when partners, friends, family do not meet your subconscious needs, unconscious needs, there is friction. There is disagreement. And so people may yo-yo back and forth or one partner may be dangling a carrot, and then the other person is hoping the other person will change until they learn that either A, this person's never going to change, and I need to stop. One person has to be the one to set the boundary and the limit. Or both people decide to change and get help. Remember the story, some of you who've been listening know the story of Jenny and Jimmy. And Jenny and Jimmy Jenny would shut down and get quiet and withdraw. She would go into freeze, and Jimmy would be aggressive and scream and yell. And they wouldn't have lasted if they both didn't decide to get the help that they needed. And so that's what happens. So, and let me just, the conscious mind is the part of you that, this is my Psych 101 lesson. This conscious mind is the part of you that chose to be here, whether you're listening live or tuning in at a later time. Thank you, conscious mind of yours. Your subconscious or unconscious mind, and I'm using them interchangeably, is the part of you from the moment you were conceived to present time that was recorded every moment. All the beliefs, and including limiting beliefs and emotions that no longer serve you or that may be hurting you or sabotaging you, are all in your subconscious mind. So when you have people that are in your life and you go back and forth, on some level, they may be serving some kind of subconscious need. The lessons are not over, or you're still in the growth process with either yourself or them. And perhaps they may end up moving and growing with you. So it all depends on, and this is really important for you to become more aware of what you need in the journey of relationships. And that includes not only partnerships, but friendships. I know because I've been in unhealthy friendships. And I will tell you, I was in a very unhealthy friendship for years. And then I was like, I couldn't end it. Talk about the yo-yo. And finally, my intuition, my guidance said, done, no more. No more. It was like there was a completion, an energy of completion. And I knew that the relationship was done and I could not stay in this relationship. It was too toxic. And I ended it. And I never spoke to it was a friendship. And I never spoke to the person again. God bless her now. She's now in heaven. But anyway, so that's what happens when relationships, and you need to make those decisions. And I always support you to make them from an intuitive place. So hopefully that was helpful and made it. Okay. So what was the next one? What if people are only giving their opinions based on what they have to gain? So if people are giving their opinions on what they have to gain, and I am going to tell you, if you think about it, most people function like this. Most people are coming from their need, what they want, how it's going to serve them. Now, some people are more toxic, more needy than others. And so what happens is ultimately, and that's why you need to tune into you and what you need. That's why it's about that conscious awareness and realizing, are you getting triggered? Maybe on an intuitive subconscious level, you know they're trying to fill their needs, not yours. Now, if a person is getting healthier and healthier, then you're going to be able to talk it through, work it out. Because here's the thing, everybody in a relationship wants their needs met. that's usually what happens. When we're in relationships, we all want our needs met. And the healthier relationships are the relationships where you can sit down and have a conversation and talk it through and be able to work it out. Now, if somebody is not willing to talk it out or work it through, then you need to look at how much do you want to be in relationship with them. Is it serving you to be in relationship with them? And what you need to do for your self-care to take care of yourself in this relationship. So, and I want to let you know that tomorrow I'm actually doing a master class for helping you to gain the calm, because it is in the calm that you can find a way to tune into your intuition. It is in the calm place that your intuition is talking to you and that you can hear, feel, sense, and know it. So join me tomorrow for 3 keys to calm for you and your clients. And join us for this masterclass. It's at 12 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. And learn how to break free from a stressed out mindset, uncover strategies that will help you uncover the blocks that have been holding you back from creating peace and calm. Learn how to harness the power of your intuition for clarity. Uncover the secrets of your intuitive wisdom that can guide you towards clarity and help you navigate uncertainty with confidence and purpose. And then learn practical tools for daily tranquility. Learn the skills needed to maintain a calm and centered state, even though life may have many uncertainties. Rebel, can you put the link in the chat? And inspiredandempoweredliving.com /masterclass. Again, inspiredandempoweredliving.com /masterclass. Thank you. Okay, so let's go back to the questions. Okay. Does it mean they are dysfunctional or just greedy? So here's the thing. What's really important for all of you to know is that if you even think of your own self, you are human, and so are the people in your life. And there may be times you may feel that they're greedy. There may be times that you feel they're dysfunctional. And all of us have somehow acted from places and spaces that maybe we didn't wish we hadn't. How many of you have put your foot in the mouth and you're like, oh, why did I say that? I know I have. And then, or what about if, like you did something and then you later regretted it? We are human. And so know that the people in your life are human too. Now, there are going to be times where they may or may not. It may come from this dysfunctional place. Greedy is part of dysfunction. It's an ego place. And what's important for you to decide for you is if this person, they may be dysfunctional, But you may love them and they may have a lot of good qualities and they may be willing, maybe they're working on themselves and they're willing to grow and you can have a conversation and maybe you're growing together. And then you may say, you know what, this is a person I want to work things through, whether it's a partner, an ex, a friend, family member, or then there is, if they're really toxic and really dysfunctional and they bring you down and it's not either you limit your time with them, or if you feel like you need to end it, you end it. It's really important for you, again, to really tune into you and ask and pray what's going to serve you to take care of yourself. That's what I want to support you to do. Okay. So, what's next? All right. I knew you were talking dysfunctional, Misty. Don't worry. I got it. How do you know we are making the right choices and going for the correct goal? So, going for the right choices and the correct goal, any of us, and this is about being human again, we are all on a journey and we're all doing, believe it or not, even when you don't feel like you are, what I want to support you in remembering is that you are doing the best that you know how to do in the moment with the situations. And if you're on the path of growth and you're learning and you're growing, you're in the journey. And what I want to support you in remembering is that you are in the journey of learning. And so you may make a choice, and either it may feel like the right choice at the moment, and then you may later regret it, or you may make the choice, and then you're like, yes, I got it right. But here's the thing, even if you make a mistake with a choice, the most important question that you can ask yourself is, what are you learning from this experience? What opportunity? Because even if you make a mistake or you make a wrong choice or you make something and you're like, why didn't I do that? Why didn't I change it? And then you can say, oh, now I understand. And it's really interesting. I really want to thank you all, because doing this show makes such a difference for me. And I get insights and downloads while I'm sharing with you. And so I want you to know that I'm still on my journey too. And I've made some decisions, like a couple of months, about my health. And it was last night. I was like, why? Why didn't I do that instead of this? And in this moment, what I realized was, what was the opportunity? What did I learn from the experience? And what I learned is, and I'll share this with you, what I learned is that I wasn't ready to let go. I wanted to let go in a conscious, you know how I'm always talking about the conscious mind and the subconscious mind? My conscious mind wants one thing and my subconscious wanted another. And I'm going to tell you, the subconscious mind always wins. And that's why it's so important to clear your energy and to clear your stuff, because That way you can move towards the path so they come into alignment. And then you're in alignment, and then you're on the path together to create what you want in your life, towards the goals and the dreams. And I also want you to know that we're definitely going to be talking more about goals and dreams in the new year, because I always like to start the new year to support you. So just giving you a heads up. So just wanted to let you know that. Okay. Friend enemy is a thing that people don't always know they are dealing with. Yeah, it's true. Sometimes you don't know. You think that the person's your friend, but if they're talking behind your back or doing things against you, then it's not necessarily a friend. And sometimes you don't always know. So I just really want to support all of you in just tuning in to what, again, it's learning to tap into that intuition, learning to tap in to that place of inner knowing, because on some level you know when something doesn't feel right. And that's what I want to support you in doing, is to listen to yourself. And sometimes, you don't always want to make a snap judgment, and you may want to keep somebody at a distance. It's really to reduce the relationship stress is really helping you to understand what is it you need to do in this relationship for yourself that will support you overall. So I just want to let you know that. Okay. So, all right. Misty says, do you find that when both can't get what they want is the start of a breakdown of a relationship, especially if they think they want is in different directions? Okay. So if both, and here's the thing, we're talking about different levels. If both of you don't get what you want, your needs are different, your needs are changing. And what happened was, maybe when you first came together, your needs were in sync, and now each of your needs are changing, because that sometimes happens, that relationships will either grow with you as you go and grow, or the relationship may need to end. Now, if you're both not getting what you want, you have choices. You can choose to go for help and go for couple counseling to see if you can save the relationship and find ways to meet each other's needs. If one or both of you are not willing to go to counseling, then you need to look at what's keeping you in this relationship. If your needs are not being met and their needs are not being met, then ask yourself, what's keeping me in this relationship? What purpose is this relationship serving? And if you find that it's not really serving you anymore, then it may be time to leave. But there may be a thing, or maybe there's some things you're still learning in the relationship. Maybe even though you're both not getting your needs met, maybe you're hanging in there to see if one or both of you can find a way to make it work and get one or both of your needs met. And ultimately, you want both of you to have your needs met. Finding a way to make your needs met. Really want to support you in doing that. So if you want different directions, like that was what happened with me and my ex-husband. What happened was, I was going one way and he was going another. and it wasn't working. So definitely about really tuning in. What do you need, and is it going to work? Okay. This will be the last question. Any other questions that come in, we'll cover them next week. Is it possible to see the signs a relationship is going in opposite directions? And if caught in the time, can it be fixed? Yes. If you see that a relationship is going in different directions, but one or both of you, hopefully both of you, are willing to work on it, it can be caught in time. Things can totally shift in relationships. It really makes a difference if a partner or a friend is willing to do the work. And even friendships, if you really care about somebody and love somebody, and that friendship means a lot to you, then you're willing to do the work it takes on yourself, and the other person's willing to work on their self, the relationship can turn around. I gave you an example, and it was, and I use a pseudonym. So sometimes I use different pseudonyms, but anyway, so today I'm using Samantha. So Samantha was in a relationship with her husband, and they were very angry, and it looked like they were heading for divorce. And she and I were working together, and we started working on her issues. And she started communicating with him in healthy ways. And now their relationship, they're still together. They never got a divorce. She made the choice to stay because it started working. Her anger went down and it started working better. Now, is the relationship perfect? No, it's not perfect, but it is going to be something that will help them to really move forward, because Samantha, chose to make the changes. The relationship changed, and that's what can happen. But remember that in Samantha's relationship, her husband, John, was willing to listen. He was willing to listen and to grow with her. And so their relationship was able to be saved. So it's really about you having conversations. Sometimes they're going to be hard conversations. So I know more questions came in, and I'm going to answer them next week. We'll start the show off next week with your questions. You know I love your questions. So thank you for your questions. So know that relationships can be saved if one or both people are willing to work on themselves and take a look at what's happening. So we're going to tune in. We're going to continue this next week. More inspired and empowered living. What I may do is we may do relationship stress, or or it may be dealing with just helping you to resolve overall stress for the holidays. But your questions will be answered. And so join us next week. Join us next week for more inspired and empowered living. We're live Tuesdays at 11 a.m. Eastern on talk4tv.com, w4wn.com, my YouTube channel. And you can listen to the podcast on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Pandora, Apple, and Amazon, and more. So join us next week for more inspired and empowered living. And I wish you all an inspired and empowered day and an inspired and empowered week. Have a great one, everybody. Bye for now.